salutations and adorations, prostrations, and devout homage at the divine feet of the Cosmic Mother, who is the kinetic or the dynamic aspect of the one non-dual, eternal, infinite, transcendental reality. Their oneness is brought out when we juxtapose two well-known sayings, Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. One and non-dual is Brahman, and everything is Brahman, all the manifestations, all the Ananta Koti Brahmandas are Brahman. And these processes of bringing into being millions of universes, looking after them in the time continuum, and then ultimately dissolving them back into their unmanifest state. These activities are through the power aspect of Parabrahma. As we saw this morning, without power, without force, dynamically manifest in the form of action or activity, no process is possible. Therefore, when you juxtapose it with Ekameva Advitiyam, it becomes apparent that one non-dual being itself has projected itself, manifested itself in the form of this cosmic power also. Because it says, everything is that alone. And the same word is used. Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. The word or the term Brahma to indicate the non-dual as well as Sarvam. Advitiyam Sarvam shows that the one itself has become the many, and the many is non-different from the one. So they are two in one. Two in one. They are not different. They appear different, but they are not different. There is a table. I have put a plank here. There is a table in front of Swami Nirliptananda. There is a table in front of Swami Premanandaji Maharaj. And also a table in front of Swamiji Maharaj, Ramananda, Rishikeshananda. And they are non-different from the tree or trees out of the wood of which these pieces of furniture have been made, brought into being. By master craftsmen, carpenters. Therefore, from point of view of the material out of which these things have been made, they are non-different from the tree out of which they have come. From the Goshala milk comes. So there is only one tattva, one non-dual principle, milk. It is boiled, it is brought to a little lukewarm temperature, and then some curd is mixed with it in the night time, and it is kept away without being disturbed or shaken. Lo, the next day, the vessel no more contains milk, it contains dahi. It contains what in Indian English we call curd, what in Western English they call yogurt. Yogurt, they call it yogurt. And once upon a time, Lord Krishna's mother, Yashoda, or rather foster mother, the real mother, the child never saw except for a few minutes. Of course, it gave darshan to them before it was born as their child. And the moment the child was born, Vasudeva had to immediately take it out of the prison. And then it became the child, the baby of Nanda and Yashoda. And she used to sit with curd and churn it with a churning rod and rope, and out of it the fatty part of it, the fat portion of it, started to rise up in the form of butter. We are told in the Srimad Bhagavata Mahapurana and all books dealing with Lord Krishna. Gurudev also has written a book called Lord Krishna, His Leelas and Teachings. Also Sangita Bhagavat, Lord Krishna, His Leelas and Teachings. It is said Krishna was very fond of butter. Very fond of butter. And he used to finish off all the butter. She was preparing butter in order to later on put it on the fire and boil it and make ghee. First grade ghee like patamade, Goshala ghee. See? Wonderful. When ghee is being prepared out of pure cow's butter, the whole ashram will begin to smell, manakum. And in the south, Tamil Nadu, they call him Vende Krishna. And you have seen pictures On two knees and one hand, the second hand uplifted with a lump of butter. And one picture has become very famous. He has brought down a pot somehow and sitting there. This is white and one hand is on the pot, the other hand is inside the pot. And as he grew up, he was not satisfied by himself taking it. He used to call all his playmates, come. And knowing that all the butter will be taken away by them, they used to tie it very high up so that this mischievous person will not be able to reach there. And after night, when the elders went away to their bedroom, 10 or 12 of them will go, and then 4 will on all fours give the back as a support, 4 others will get up on their back and bend their back, and then ultimately with utmost ease, the top person will always be Lord Krishna. He will bring the pot down. These things we have seen. And so then it is cooked on fire, it becomes ghee. And out of that ghee, many delicious things are fried and made. So we see any change has to be brought about through dynamism, through activity. The unmanifest to become manifest, there has to be constructive, creative, progressive, creative, constructive, dynamic activity. But at the same time, when you consider Ekameva, Advitiyam, we are compelled to come to the conclusion that that same non-dual principle has taken the form of this dynamic principle. Brahman has assumed Shakti Swarupa. And because all these various activities in the house is presided over and engaged in and undertaken by the mother of the home, she is called the cosmic mother. Cosmic mother. As we saw, when she is a manifestation of the cosmic power of Brahma, the creator, she becomes Saraswati. When she becomes the manifestation of the cosmic power of Lord Vishnu or Narayana, she becomes Mahalakshmi, Paralakshmi. And when she becomes a manifestation of the cosmic power aspect of Maheshwara, the concluder of this triune drama of creation, preservation and dissolution, she becomes Durga or Parvati. Thus, the non-difference between the apparent two becomes quite plain. it becomes established. One in two. Same principle in two, apparently two things. Two in one. Both in her, in each other. And therefore, when you are offering worship to Divine Mother, you are offering worship to that Supreme Brahman also. So one worship goes to both because there are no both. You worship Saraswati, Brahma becomes priest. Brahma, the creator, becomes priest. You worship Mahalakshmi, Narayana is a wonderfully priest. Becomes immediately propitious. You worship Parvati, Lord Shankara is priest, and you start dancing. Dancing is a joy. He will do the Tandava Nrityam. It is thus this sublime manifestation of the one non-dual Parabrahman as the dynamic power behind all creative processes, all cosmic processes, all changes, all multiplication. It is this cosmic power that we adore and offer worship to during these 9 nights. And as we offer worship to Mother, automatically it becomes worship of the Supreme Being also. In the Divine Mother is present the non-dual being. And in the non-dual being, the Divine Mother is present in an unmanifest form, a hidden unmanifest form. When she is manifest, she becomes Parashakti, Mahashakti, Adya Shakti. There is nothing she cannot do because she is not the power of a finite being. She is the power of the Supreme Being. Therefore, there is nothing impossible. Everything is possible. Those who worship me with devotion, I give everything. May her divine grace be upon each and every one of you who are participating in this 3-hourly, holy, sacred, religious process of worship, reading the special scripture that is dedicated to her, and praising her through the stutis and the stotras that are contained in the scripture, one of the very first stuti is by Brahma. Who Vishnu is in his cosmic slumber upon Sheshashai, upon Shesha, and Brahma is part of him, Chaturmukha Brahma, and is threatened by Madhukaitava. Brahma prays to the Divine Mother in the form of Yogamaya Shakti and asks her, Mother, please awaken the Lord from his slumber, Yoga Nidra. I am being threatened by this Madhukaitava. And if Lord Narayana does not wake up now and come to my rescue, I do not know, I fear what will happen. I may be destroyed. They may make short shrift of me. Tvam swaha, tvam sada. Tvam shitkara, swaratmika. So, this is explained by Maharishi Markandeya in the forest when they are approached by Surata the king, who has been driven out of his kingdom, is taken shelter in the forest to save himself from his enemies. When his own ministers turned false to him and allowed the enemies to invade their kingdom. And Samadhi, the merchant, Vaishya merchant, whom out of greed and avarice to get the wealth earned by him quickly, not wait until he dies or not wait until they become elderly enough to handle money. His own sons, his own wife, maybe she wants jewelry, and he says, no, I cannot give you now. I am keeping the money carefully in order to marry our daughters and in order to educate our sons. Lot of money is necessary. I will give you in your own right time. Now be satisfied with the jewelry I have already given. No. So wife also turned false. The sons also wanted to get in possession of his wealth. Very soon, not wait until he thinks it is the right time for them to handle his money. So, they throw him into the street, throw him away. Must have threatened violence. So, here these two meet. The merchants, Vaishya, Samadhi, and King Radha Surata, they meet and they accost each other, and each one tells his unfortunate situation and fate. And then they are puzzled that in spite of the treachery their families have committed against them, yet due to attachment they are still thinking of wife and children and home, ministers, palace, wealth, elephant, the royal elephant, and the horse. Hey, what is this? They have brought us into this wretched condition, and yet our mind goes to them, thinks about them. Very puzzling, difficult to understand. And as they are thus in a confused state, not able to understand their own psychological situation, they see the hermitage in the distance. Then when they draw near, they see Rishi Markandeya. And then let us go. Here is a sage. Sages, they are wise. Let us go and ask him. So they agree. Both of them approach. The sage cordially welcomes them and then offer them seat. Ask the disciples to give them hospitality. And what can I do for you? How it is you have come into this jungle? You don't seem like jungle people. How it is you are here? And I see a sorrowful countenance in both of you. What is the matter? What is the reason for your sorrow? Then they describe their fate and say how it is. Then he says it is due to Maya. Bhagavati, Maya, Mahamaya. Then they said, who is this Mahamaya? What is she? Where is she from? What are her powers? Then the answer to their query to Markandeya is the contents of Durga Saptasati or Devi Mahatmya. Very interesting coincidence, just like Srimad Bhagavad Gita has got 700 verses, this scripture also has got 700 verses. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 18 chapters, this is divided into 13 chapters. 700 verses in 13 chapters. He says, her powers are indescribable. Even very wise persons, persons with great knowledge, if mother decides, then with her power, she will catch hold of them and bring them down to the ground. Vidvamsamapi balad akarsha, she puts them down. So before her power, no knowledge, no wisdom, no cleverness, no chaturya. Vedas and Puranas you may get by heart, but before her power of Maya, attachment, infatuation, delusion. So that is the Durga Saptasati or Devi Mahatmya. And to that great power we offer worship during these 9 nights, and it is a great good fortune for us that within the religious tradition of our Vedic religion, Vedic way of life, Vaidika Dharma, Sanatana Vaidika Dharma, they have set aside a special period each year to offer worship, so that during part of that program, a regular study of the scripture is made during these 7 days in a certain system. First day, first chapter. second day, second and third chapter. Like that, these 13 chapters are divided into 7 the sections. And so that we may obtain the divine grace and blessings. Our ancients have made this part of a year's religious activity. To them all our gratitude and thanks. To Mother our obeisance, prostrations and adorations. And to all of you who are gathered together here, in whose service I have had this golden opportunity of sharing these few thoughts, offering these few words. I offer my thanks also and deem myself to be very fortunate. Glory be to the Divine Mother. Dinodharini Duritaharini Dinodharini Duritaharini Satvarajatama Trigunadharini Satvarajatama Trigunadharini Dinodharini Durita Harini Dinodharini Durita Harini Satvarajatama Trigunadharini Satvarajatama Satvarajatama Trigunadharini Sandhya Savitri Saraswati Gayatri Sandhya Savitri Saraswati Gayatri Sita Janaki Pankaj Lakshmi Sita Janaki Pankaj Lakshmi Dinodharini Duritaharini Satvarajatama Trigunadharini Sandhya Savitri Saraswati Gayatri Sandhya Savitri Saraswati Gayatri Radha रुक्मिणी पंकज लक्ष्मी राधा रुक्मिणी पंकज लक्ष्मी दीनोद्धारिणी दुरितहारिणी सत्वरजतम त्रिगुणधारिणी दीनोद्धारिणी दुरितहारिणी सत्वरजतम त्रिगुणधारिणी सत्वरजतम त्रिगुणधारिणी सत्वरजतम त्रिगुणधारिणी पराशक्ति महारानी की। Glory be to the Divine Mother.